Black brothers, right across the universe, this message is for you. Mr. Farrakhan bring 1 million people together. But here in my land, we can't get 2 people to agree. Simply because we keep fighting against each other. Or maybe because we prefer the rivalry. The white men sticking with one another. Indians fighting for their own. But when it comes to my dear black brother, his own race he cannot condone. It's like we free but still ain't free from the dark days of slavery. Or maybe we still suffering mentally, cause a little thing like uniting is taking us so long to accomplish. It's like we still carrying out the white man's wish.
Get along, get along.
Black man would fight each other and stifle their own progress, while they keep climbing the ladder on the high road to success. They did that down in South Africa, and for years blacks didn't exist. We can't let that happen in Little Nevis. Look, I beg you, come let we unite. Come let we stop fight, and then we go get we equal rights. Brother, only then we go get we equal rights.
Get along, get along.
The white man know that black people don't pull together, so he does go and add fuel to the flame. He hire one to keep an eye on the other. If something go wrong, it's the 2 of them he does blame. The same old trick they did with forefathers is the same old trick they're doing us now. Organize all kind of encounters, then blame black people for the wrong. Black people, open your eyes. The time has come for us to rise. Our strength lies in unity, you must realize. If we continue to fight over greed and selfishness, it's like we still carrying out the white man's wish. Our they wish black man would fight each other and stifle their own progress, while they keep climbing the ladder on the high road to success. They did that down there in Nigeria, and for years blacks didn't exist. We can't let that happen in Little Nevis. Look, I beg you, come let we unite. Come let we stop fight, and then we go get we equal rights. Brother, only then we go get we equal rights.
Get along, get along.
White supremacy could quite easily be demolished if we only stand up and fight as one. You'll be amazed at the kind of things we'll accomplish. On the world stage, we'll take a right position. The white man know that long time, brother. Once we unite, they cannot rule. But divided they would rule and conquer, and use black people like a tool. They did that in Uganda, Morocco and in Kenya, and then turn around and call it tribal war. Shamefully I must agree that right here in my Nevis, it's like we still carrying out the white man's wish. I would wish black man would fight each other and stifle their own progress, while they keep climbing the ladder on the high road to success. They did that down in South Africa, and for years blacks didn't exist. We can't let that happen in Little Nevis. Look, I beg you, come let we unite. Come let we stop fight and then we go get we equal rights. Brother, only then we go get we equal rights. Serious message to my black brothers and sisters. It is time to unite. Cause only unity. Done?
Yes, my good people, and that track is coming to you from Sister This and That over there in our sister island, Queen City, Nevis. That one is entitled The White Man Wish. I'm DJ Marisha, and I'm coming to you live and direct from a remote location here in the Boogie Down Bronx, New York. Very cold on the outside, a lot of snow on the ground, a lot of ice on the ground, as you're aware. It's been a very rough one over the last couple of days. But just before we get into the mix of things, I know there were many of you online that might have just bumped into us and wondering what this podcast is all about. So let's take a quick listen to this ad.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and a candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishall, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. The DJ is here each and every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. local time during the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Due to some mishap there with the Facebook app, we come a bit early for you folks who look forward to the 6 o'clock broadcast that you get it on time. So just before we get into the meat of things, I'm going to drop a little commentary there by my boy J. Dwyer Astafan in a few minutes. But before I drop that clip, let me drop a clip here of my icon there, the man Dr. Garfield Alexander, and his prediction of the DJ.
DJ Marisha, I don't want you guys to take your eyes off him. Remember, he's been around for some time. Let's go back to COVID and lockdowns. The gentleman came in, was locked down in quarantine, and then realized the total hypocrisy, tyranny, and oppression of the then administration during our most horriblest time. Spoke out. Not only spoke out, became an activist. And then you know what he did? Organize and centralize. And he never stopped organizing and centralizing until Timothy was gone. I don't even want to talk about the involvement he had before and the Douglas administration and the Harris. We ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just talking that during COVID, that man, both on this front, locally, and in the US, waged war against tyranny and oppression. One simple man, a DJ as he calls himself. He never called himself an engineer or anything else, just a DJ, because he understands the power of voice, and not just voice, autonomous, independent, honest, transparent voice always wins in the end. So it could be persons with unlimited power and unlimited money. He somehow always becomes the David against the Goliaths. Be careful with him. Be kind to him. Watch him. Because trust me, he's going to triumph in the end. Again.
And that I can promise you, folks. I will not prove the doc wrong. He is a visionary and definitely one of our icons in our beloved St. Kitts Nevis. My good people, before we get any further into the conversation, let me drop a commentary for G.A. Dwyer Astephen for today, Wednesday, 28th January 2026. My good people, I know some of you out there get heart attack and getting upset and stressing yourself out when I make my comments following G.A. Dwyer Astephen's commentaries. Whether you are for my comments or against them, the idea is not to put down Dwyer. I welcome these clips, I welcome his commentaries, but Dwyer needs to be held accountable for his messaging. Now, is wanting to be a messenger is another thing to be an influencer. The DJ try his best here not to be an influencer, but to bring awareness to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, to be the empowerment, empowering personnel that will open up minds to conversation. So when you hear me comment on certain things following Dwyer's commentary, Dwyer and I has a different area code to St. Kitts. St. Kitts area code is 869. Dwyer knows what his code is. And Dwyer knows that when I call him out, I'm on target. He knows what I'm speaking about, and he knows better. So once he's going to drop his commentary, I welcome them. As a matter of fact, I will say this to you. If I am lying from Dwyer, because Dwyer told me that his commentary plays on Freedom FM on Wednesdays. He paid for that service, for his commentary to play on Freedom FM. The DJ play it here for free. This podcast, there's a cost to it. The DJ has to pay to keep this program going. Many of you that comes here week after week after week have never made a contribution. But many of you want to tell the DJ what to say, what to comment on, to support your political parties. I am not here to support any political parties. I am here to bring you the facts as I see them, and it's up to us to have a conversation. So you spin doctors out there who want to spin for whatever party you choose to spin for. The DJ not into that. Nah. The DJ is not into that. I will not mislead my people. So without any further ado, let's take a listen to Brother G.A. Dwyer Astephen's commentary.
Greetings. January 27th marks my 78th birthday, and I give thanks to the Almighty for life and for allowing me not to be too much of a burden on my loved ones. I also thank all of my listeners for your interest and for your inspiration and guidance. Today I wish to discuss investments in our country. We are in great need of economic activity and the financial and social benefits that can come from that activity. In the first half of 2006, 20 years ago, as Minister of National Security, I submitted a proposal to Cabinet whereby government would try to raise $150 to $200 million by issuing citizenships to qualified applicants who would each contribute a certain sum of money into what we would call the National Security Development Fund. And the money would be used by the government to build out the national security, physical and social infrastructure throughout the Federation. Police, prison, Coast Guard, infantry, fire and rescue, customs, the whole 9 yards. This would be a government project. The money would be paid to the government directly. We would engage international sales agents and, as much as possible, local architects, engineers, contractors, suppliers, and that sort of thing. And all the profits would be government money. Young people on the margins of society would be hired as apprentices to work on the various job sites. They would be properly paid, fed a meal, and helped with social and other skills. They would form the core, if this project were to be allowed, they would form the core of the future of the trades in this country. And once they stuck to their task, they would be guaranteed a piece of land. At that time, many of our youths were guaranteed a piece of land, yes, but in the cemetery, and we wanted to put an end to that. And of course, the government would provide financing for them to build their homes. So they would be moved from hopelessness to hope from nothingness to having a vested interest. This would be a win-win for all. Social stabilization, bring crime and the cost of fighting crime under control, using the money saved for other public programs, or to stimulate business and other entrepreneurial opportunities for our people, particularly small business. It would build out a national security apparatus, both physical and social, to top level. It would develop a cadre of tradesmen and tradeswomen, and it would provide a building and economic boom. In fact, that was the first public good option CBI project ever proposed in St. Kitts and Nevis, but Cabinet rejected it. Interestingly enough, weeks later, Prime Minister Douglas introduced a submission to Cabinet to establish the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, a private foundation which would be non-governmental with no accountability to Cabinet or to the country. Qualified applicants would pay $200,000 to the SIDF and receive citizenship. I saw red flags in that. I saw benefits, but I saw red flags. I was very uncomfortable with it not being within the government setup, but that didn't stop them. The Cabinet gobbled it up like hungry predators. I want to presume that most of them did not know better. I don't want to presume otherwise. A handful of people got fat on that SIDF diet. That's what I could tell you. Over a dozen years later, the Harris Cabinet introduced another CBI product, which they called the public good option. I wonder where they got that from. This time, however, it would not be a government project. I speak of the notorious Galaxy Jail project. In that deal, the Harris administration allowed Galaxy, a private entity, to sell between 4,500 and 5,500 citizenships in what was an unforgivably and unforgettably loose arrangement, with all of the profits going to Galaxy. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of US dollars for a $40 million US dollar project. Why were so many files allocated for this project? But perhaps the biggest question is, why didn't the government not do this project by itself, bringing in sales agents, architects, engineers, and so forth, and mostly locals to work on the job sites and pocketing all the money, the government, all of the net profit, hundreds of millions of US dollars. We're running deficits now. CBI revenues have dried up, and Galaxy is one of the reasons. Why didn't Dr. Harris see the wisdom and the rightness and the righteousness of making it a true public good project? And to add insult to injury, there was no escrow provision in the regulations which Dr. Harris and his colleagues passed into law. No escrow. Couldn't be more loose than that. And on top of that, they allowed an affiliate company of Galaxy to do the due diligence. Why did they allow all of this to happen? Why did they make it happen? And that's not the end of it, because not one of the thousands of Galaxy Jail applicants, nor anybody else for that matter, can show one scintilla of evidence that the applicants paid the minimum set by law, which was $175,000 US dollars. I would bet my bottom dollar that none of the applicants paid the minimum amount set by law. So they all broke the law and defrauded the country. Blatant and brazen fraud against the government and people of this country. And it would be interesting to hear Dr. Harris deny what was happening under his very eyes. I know he has tried to explain by insulting our intelligence with the argument that the pricing was market-driven. What nonsense is that? This brings to mind Lord Cutts' Calypso classic, Only in St. Christopher. And as I speak of the jail project, I wonder about the Ramada project, which was also done by Galaxy. And don't be surprised if the jail project does not at all get completed in your lifetime. Visit there and visit Ramada to see what's going on. But beware of the dogs. From any possible angle can that jail project or any like it be truly considered to be a public good project? Well, who got the lion's share? Not us, not the public. Public good means you must just get the facility, but somebody else get the big money? No. Enter the Drew administration. They tightened up the situation, but not entirely. They should have pursued all of the jail applicants. They should have given all of them the choice between paying the balance to the government or having their citizenships cancelled. Why have they not done this? We need to know. This, in my opinion, has caused the government and the people of St. Kitts Nevis to lose hundreds of millions of much needed US dollars. Most of you have heard about all of this before, you know. But it is necessary, I think, to give context for what comes next. The present administration and the country need cash. We need economic action. And with the damage done to our CBI program, thanks in no small measure to Dr. Douglas and Dr. Harris, CBI cash flows have dried up significantly, almost totally. And there seems to be a sense of desperation. We need action, and we're holding on to the thing that has been drying up. I hope a miracle happens, but I think we need to be more than just hopeful. We need to be practical and progressive. So the present administration have allowed 3 major public good projects to be funded via CBI, namely the Robert Bradshaw Airport project, the Bastia High School project, and the Performing Arts Center project. But who is going to do these projects? Not the government. Private people. If it is going to be a public good option, the public must get the project operational, and the public must get the bulk of the money. The lion's share goes to the lion, and we cannot be the lamb in our own land. We have to be the lions, especially in something like this. You're talking about our passports, our patrimonial identity. That's not a good exchange. It is not a fair exchange for the people. I want to know why the Jew government has made this decision. I'm told that about 1,000 applications will be allowed for each project. That would generate about $200 million US for each project to be done, out of which the developers each could pocket $40 to $50 million tax-free, about the same as the government. That doesn't sound equitable to me. One player alone would take in $5 million US for each of these 3 projects for doing God knows what. If government owns and runs the projects, it would collect closer to $100 million, and more local value added would be guaranteed. So I opt for the less good option. Now my numbers are just guesstimates, but in the absence of real numbers, which should be supplied to us happily by the government, but they aren't doing it, we have to guesstimate. But there's another danger. Suppose the developers go bankrupt or suffer some other loss for whatever reason, causing their assets to be frozen or some other terrible thing to happen, rendering them incapable of finishing the project. What are the assurances for the government and people in such an instance? What happens to the project? Here is my point. A public good option should be a government project. Hire and engage who we need, but keep it as a government project. Anything else is a continuation of the profiteering and plunder that have bedeviled these islands for the last 400 years. There's a single and important difference between then and now, though, and it is that back then, these bad decisions were made by and primarily for outsiders. They want public good, whereas now the same bad decisions are being made not by foreigners, but by our own leaders who we elect, who look like they are unable or unwilling to allow our people at last to get the lion's share of our own thing. For centuries, the people of this country and this region have not been allowed a seat at the dining table. Instead, they have been on the menu. You know the saying, if you're not sitting at the table, you're on the menu. And it seems the same. Whichever party is in power, a public good option, and I'll repeat, must be reserved for the government. Already from the CBI, profiteers and plunderers have deprived us over the years of billions of dollars. Yet we continue this foolishness. Why? And on top of that, we have even appointed some of them to be diplomats and envoys for us. Dr. Arthur Porter, Mogadam, and all of these others right up to now. Here we are running up deficits. The debt is rising. Many things need fixing. Yet we are continuing to allow the lions to eat our lambs for lunch. Is this what smart government and smart governance are all about? I think not. Think about it. Thank you.
Brother Dwyer Estefan, thanks for that commentary. And I want to say to you that I'm happy that you made it to 78. Hope you make it to a lot more and keep up in good health. However, as usual, Dwyer, you know, you highlighted some great topics in your commentary there. The question continues, Dwyer, why you continue to lament on Douglas and Timothy as prime ministers in whatever they did back then, and refuse to call out Prime Minister Joe for the current situation? The hypocrisy, Dwyer, of you guys like you and Sam Kanda and Dr. Martin and the team there and Freedom and all of those labor hypocrites that's out there and social media trying to say labor doing this good job. The hypocrisy of you guys is that when it comes to the cruise passengers coming in, you all take credit for it. You all give the impression that my good cousin Marsha Henderson is doing such a great job that overnight she bringing in hundreds of thousands of passengers via cruise destination, not giving any credit to the former administration for the groundwork that was laid before Labour took office in 2022. But yet, after 3 years in a 4-year of their first term, you know, Dwyer, that we campaign against a lot of things. Prison projects meaning one of them. The Prime Minister now back then said it was illegal, it was a crime, it was whatever. You're speaking about ambassadors being appointed in certain areas that control our money. So Dwyer, you know who they are? You know who they are, you know who appoint them. The ambassador that was in the UK, Dev Bass, that was recently appointed to ambassador in India. Was it Timothy Harris that appointed that ambassador? It was not Timothy Harris. The foreign minister is Dr. Denzel Douglas. The prime minister is Dr. Drew. So between the two of them, they're the one who has Dev Bass in India as ambassador, not Dr. Harris. I mean, anyone that go back and follow my podcast over the years, I have thrown the kitchen sink and the stove and the fridge and everything at Timothy for what he was doing wrong. And back then, the campaign, Dwyer, all of us were saying, get rid of them. I now realize in your guys' mind, it wasn't get rid of them, it was get rid of Timothy Harris. Because you all on this song now, the chorus, over and Nevis, the premier continues to do his nonsense, and you still refuse to call him out, Dwyer. The prime minister lies after lies after lies. Even my little baby girl can tell there's a lie. I was speaking to someone in St. Kitts some week ago, and even recently, and they explained to me that they have a nephew going to some daycare, preschool or whatever. And the nephew came home telling them how lie the prime minister is. Because the prime minister came to the preschool promising them one thing, and up to now he's still waiting for his money that the prime minister promised them. The prime minister lies too much. They say what start bad morning can't come good evening. But the lies are so played in front of us as the afternoon progress, as the evening progress. I'll be dropping some clips, my good people. And it's unfortunate that people choose to get upset with the DJ for calling out these guys with their lies and mismanagement of the country. These folks campaign about doing better. The prime minister told me on this podcast, he can't be and could not be as bad as Timothy Harris, and thus far, he has proven to be worse than Harris. By far. So my good people, it's okay to get upset with the DJ for calling out these criminals, these corrupt ministers that we helped to elect. But while you're doing so, please drop the issue at the foot of those ministers that lied to us. They ask for an opportunity. The folks on the ground in St. Kitts, you all know what the facts are. The folks in the diaspora who does not understand what's going on, they think this is business as usual. And it cannot be business as usual. Dwyer knows better. Dwyer knows that in his commentaries, he knows who names to call. He knows what he's talking about. So call the names, Dwyer. That's all I'm saying to you. You and I know who name to call them. Stop dancing around the pitch. Bowl the ball on the center stump, Dwyer. Tell the people what's going on. We have made a mistake by putting in Prime Minister Joe and by extension the Labour Party, and we need to fix it. Whatever pain we have to go through to fix the problem, Dwyer, we must go through that pain. The country must be fixed. You was a part of that. I was a part of that. Sam Kanda was a part of that. It's 8 of us was in a war room that I created a WhatsApp group. We spend nights after nights on these podcasts trying to convince people that the farm administration had to go if the country is going to move forward in a positive way. Prime Minister Joe promised to do better, and all he have done is lie to the people. I'm going to drop some clips like I said in a bit, and most recently, you heard Dr. Joe talk time and time again. He went and take the SSZ bill to Parliament, passed it into law without seeing the agreement of the Destiny Project and Nevis. Most recently, he was asked on Freedom FM the status on the Destiny Project and the SSZ. He still have not seen it according to the Prime Minister, but yesterday at a press conference, Premier Brantley is claiming that over a month ago, on the 23rd of December 2025, that agreement was signed and forwarded down to Church Street to the Prime Minister. Is the mail system that slow in St. Kitts that from the 23rd of December 2025 to now, yesterday, the 27th of January 2026, the Prime Minister have not received this document? Or the Prime Minister not doing his work, or he just naturally lie? So my good people, in as much as you all want to have me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because you all believe I'm supposed to stay quiet and spin for this corrupt Labour administration, that ain't gonna happen, you know. They're fighting within. Lots happening within the Department of Health right now. And I knew it's gonna happen. I sit back and I laugh. Because I know that those actors they got up there, they're not even good actors from the top down. And they brought in a chief actor as PS. And he's a pussy. And I'm so sorry to call him a pussy because pussy is good. And he's not good at what he do. You understand? I can't even find a real name for them because they're just bad. They're just not capable of doing the right thing. Not capable of telling the truth. The job is above their head. They cannot handle it. Last Friday, I decided to relax and take a listen to the Grounding boys there and Freedom. It was good to see Dwyer, Sam Kanda, and Junior. I figure I'm in for a good program that afternoon. And again, to my disappointment, Dwyer did not give the kind of performance I anticipated. I was disappointed in certain things that Sam said because Sam tried to give an explanation about the situation with him and the security down there at Port Zante. I spoke to Sam earlier in the week because I called him to find out what was going on and everything like that. And he gave me his version of what transpired. But I expect somebody in Sam's caliber to reflect on the situation and understand that he could have done things differently. So to hear Sam give his explanation and to say he will do it the same exact way again, I'm disappointed in Sam to hear that. Because I too have had my issues with those security down there at Posante and over on the other side there by Sweet Cane. But I just pay the $5. I just pay the $5 and do what I need to do and just call it a day. So when Sam said he's going to block up traffic over $5 and park there for the rest of the day and he will do it again, Sam, no, you're better than that. You could do better than that. The DJ not going to support you on those actions there, Sam. I'm going to call you out on that. As wrong as the security may have been, and maybe she's not wrong because she's working under a supervisor who may have gave instructions how things to be done. So you as an ambassador, Sam, you as somebody who could afford $5, could have handled things differently. And I am saying to you, I support you as a person. You contribute a lot to community service. You contribute a lot to society, but none of us are perfect. So you say you will do it again. I'm calling on you, Sam, not to do it again. Not to let it happen again. There's ways of handling situation. It's not what you do, but how you do it. So during the period, a caller called in to Freedom FM and basically was trying to explain to Dwyer that there's a podcast out there. He listened to a podcast and somebody on that podcast was talking about Dwyer's commentary and he was hurt and upset. Well, I want to say to that caller this evening. Caller, when the DJ give an overview of Dwyer's commentaries, I don't give an overview to knock down Dwyer. Dwyer know what his intentions are when he presents these commentaries. And what would have been nice, caller, is that if you ask Dwyer the relationship between him and that developer or that foreign investor that he's campaigning on or speaking on behalf of, that he wants the government to assist, it would have been nice for you to ask Dwyer that question. And if he were to tell you the truth, you would realize that the DJ is spot on with his assessment. Because there are many local investors in St. Kitts Nevis. There are many local businesses, small, medium, and large, that are struggling. The Reginald Francis matter, the Glenbarrow matter, and many other businesses that would prefer not to hear the name called on this podcast because anybody who is associated with DJ Marisha get penalized. But they're crying silently. They are dying silently. They are closing down silently because they're all afraid of this big bad wolf. Dr. Dre is a big bad wolf. The same way we put him, they will remove him. Quietly, illegally, without any noise. If by now people have not woken up and realized that Dr. Dre is not the answer that the DJ thought he was, then we have a serious problem. Let me drop this clip with this caller calling on Gondins. And I want to say to this caller, my phone number is area code 869-660-0195. I have no issue with anyone reaching out to me and question my statements and my position and situation. What I have an issue with is people, because they support a political party or a particular individual, they expect the DJ to praise them when they're wrong. The DJ don't do that. I told Dr. Drew privately and publicly on this podcast, do good things. Give me good things to talk about. Because whatever you do, the DJ will be talking about them. I am here to empower and bring awareness to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, whether home locally, regional or internationally. I don't have no problem telling people how I feel, respectfully. There are some people out there who might have an issue with the DJ because the DJ is a plain speaker. But I am not going to get into any debate with anyone who don't want to have an open conversation. Do not call the DJ. Do not try to speak to the DJ to tell the DJ what the DJ is supposed to think. The DJ will not tell you what you're supposed to think. The DJ will present whatever the facts are and let you make your judgment. When the time is ripe, as King Shashat said, the same stick that licked the wild goat is the same stick gonna lick the tame. The DJ is okay. The DJ is good. So let's take a listen to this clip.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just want to say to Dwyer especially, I believe that, and Sam and yourself, Junie, but I want to speak in particular to Dwyer for his constant and continuous contribution to St. Kitts Nevis and to the development of the entire federation. Dwyer, I believe you mean well. I think you have a pretty good understanding of what is needed for this country and for the people. I believe from your regular commentaries that I am a regular listener of your commentaries and always give me something to think about. And I want people to really listen to you. You know, in fact, you don't have the monopoly on ideas and information, none of us. But it tells me that you do some real searching, you study, so that when you come forward, you come at something that is meaningful, something that is worthy of listening to, and something that we can live by. So I don't want you to get distracted by persons who might feel that you have a motive, which, you know what I mean, anybody who's listening will tell you that that is not so. Because you have been open-minded, you have you call Jack, or you give Jack his jacket, you call out persons when there is need to, and even when you might be wrong, you come back and you say you're sorry. So I've been listening to another program, and I hear a gentleman somewhat kind of attacking you, and I got really upset about it. And that needs to stop. And I just want you and Sam and Dwyer and everybody who has a meaningful contribution to the development of St. Kitts and Nevis to continue to press forward. These are challenging times for not just St. Kitts and Nevis, for the entire federation. There is so much things that that is happening, you know. In fact, and I don't even want to get to go political, because I believe while sometimes this present government is under fire, I want to say that this government does not have the privilege like the previous two governments where they had the CBI at their disposal, millions of dollars on the Team Unity for 7 years. And the former Labour government where Sam and Dwyer, both of you were part of it. And not afraid to say, yes, we were part of that government and there were mistakes. And because you couldn't say something because of your collective responsibility. And so I believe that it comes a time in life where we all have to man up, realize that the country, it is bigger than any individual.
And I want this caller to understand that nothing that the DJ say is an attack on Dwyer. It's to highlight to Dwyer that the issues that he's bringing to the table, he putting on the table, is great issues, but he also knows the answers to them. Dwyer is well aware that this Prime Minister this AG, this Labour administration is to mess up the CBI to the point where it's at today. When Dr. Joe was elected as Prime Minister, well, as a minister, and then become Prime Minister of the Federation in 22, he had a great opportunity to advance the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. If Dr. Joe was someone who would come to the country and tell the country the truth, back then, the country, the Federation that Dr. Joe received was in such good standing internationally that the US was preparing to approach the country about setting up a US base, embassy on St. Kitts. That's what was in place. Because of all the bullshit and all the lies and all the conniving behavior of this Prime Minister, look what we come to. We come to now where we are given marching orders to accept the criminals, the deportees that we participated in over the years, giving access to the US, the EU, and Canada via our CBI. And today, the Prime Minister still cannot be the big man and come to the country and tell the country the truth. It's very simple. History will show how we get here. No matter how we dance around it now, no matter what government you support or what party you support, when the time is right, history will show that the worst Prime Minister that St. Kitts Nevis have ever encountered is Prime Minister Dr. Terence Joe. And it didn't have to be that way. He allowed himself to get there because he had good people around him giving him advice. If Dwyer were to be honest with himself, I have the WhatsApp messages between Dwyer Astafan and the AG, who is his family. When the issue about the underselling of the passport or the underselling of the citizenship with that Galaxy project over there, that prison project, in one of the WhatsApp messages, the AG responded that this was a good scam. Well, I want to believe that if the AG is serious about law enforcement and doing right by the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, from the time he was sworn in as AG, the individuals that was being a part of those scams should have been hauled in by the DPP, should have been charged and clean up the whole thing. But guess what happened? When they got into cabinet, all of those criminals, when they got into cabinet and realized that within their circle, there are some big players in that scam, they had no choice. According to one minister, if it was Timothy alone, we could let Timothy go. But we got to protect Dougie. Protect Dougie at what cost? Protect Dougie from what? You know, since I've been here in the US, I've been approached and asked to visit the prosecutor in Washington to get a better understanding and more of what's going on with this whole situation. And I said to that individual, I look forward to that opportunity, but I would like to have the foreign minister, Dr. Douglas, at that meeting with me. Because I know Dr. Douglas knows exactly what the prosecutor talking about. The DJ just starting to learn about the whole picture. But I know Prime Minister Joe, the AG, Dwyer Astafan, the DPP, and all of them, they know what the prosecutor has. And this matter where St. Kitts and Nevis have to now, according to Douglas, accept third countries refugees, aka deportees, aka criminal deportees, is because they're trying to save a couple of them ass. It's as simple as that. I challenge them to prove me wrong. Or they have a choice. They could take me up under the memorial because there's no longer under the clock. So tell them, take me upon the memorial. Let's spread the paperwork up there in front of a judge. Let them tell the DJ is wrong. This Prime Minister, this AG, and by extension, this new Labour administration is who have us in the situation we are today. I'm not making no excuses for Douglas in what he did. They said Billy Herbert is no longer with us, so I cannot deal with Billy Herbert. I put the first Prime Minister, so Kennedy Alphonse Simons, I put him in good stead. I am of the view that Dr. Simons wanted good for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis and for the people of St. Kitts Nevis. As a matter of fact, under my leadership, we had a 25th anniversary of independence celebration here in New York over at the Eastwood Manor. And I recommended at the time that we invited our first Prime Minister, Dr. Kennedy Simons. And my good friend there, the late, great, the King Arrow that sing this song, Arise. For many years, I tried to get Arrow to come out to New York to perform that great song that I love, Arise. And Arrow told me he was now a Christian and don't perform those songs anymore. But when I reached out to Arrow and invited him for the 25th anniversary of independence at the Eastwood Manor, and I told him that we're going to be honoring Prime Minister Simons, Arrow openly decided that he wants to be a part of this occasion. And that stuff came down very nicely because we had performances of people like the late, great King Arrow. We had performances by the King Congress, Queen Anastasia, Lord Kent. On that occasion, we also had a gentleman by the name of King This and That, who is currently the Queen of Nevis, Queen of Corruption, supporting her wrong. My dear sister, This and That, you sing a song there about carrying out the white man wish. I want you to go back and listen to that song and really have a conversation with the DJ, because the DJ have no problem with you, you know. I'm going to leave you to yourself, as I've said to you previously, Queen This and That, my sister. We have a mutual friend here in New York. We are like brothers. As a matter of fact, he's my vice president of DJ Mauritius Sports Club. And I know he would not want us to be on social media going at each other. But Queen, the DJ is capable of dealing with you. So if you don't stay out of the way and stop calling my name in your shit, the DJ gonna come at you full blast. This is your final warning. This is your final warning, sister, This and That. Because the DJ right now is in what we call campaign mode. And campaign mode until that day that the bell is rung in St. Kitts and Nevis. And if you stand in the way of anything I am doing, Queen, sister, you're going to be hell to pay between St. Kitts and Nevis. You are talking about building a bridge. The bridge might break down before it's built. And speaking of that, I realize these days, folks calling for secession. Again, secession not going to fix the problem in St. Kitts and Nevis, you know. Secession will not fix the problem. What's going to take care of the problems we have in St. Kitts and Nevis is when we start standing up to these criminals that we elect. Because I'm going to drop another clip here. And when I heard these words last Friday on Groundings, I laughed to myself. I shake my head. And I could not believe what I was hearing coming from Dwyer. So let me drop this clip for Dwyer. And I would ask Dwyer in his next commentary if you feel like telling the country some other way. Tell the people the real facts between the relationship between him and Element. So let's listen to this clip.
Wish Ellie all the very best. My only regret, Junie and Sam, is that Ellie, in my opinion, has not been sufficiently appreciated by the country for his contribution. Remember, his was the leading band in the Caribbean. Right. And at a time when St. Kitts had 4 of the best brass bands in the Caribbean, could compete with any band in the Caribbean. He toured the world, he's Sparrow's arranger, so many things he has done. Right. And there's nothing named after him. There's nothing named after him.
No street in your town.
Nothing named after Ellie. Nothing named after Kenrick Georges. We have icons. This country has a list of people
Bruce Skerritt,
who have excelled in all fields of endeavor.
Sure.
And we need to name things in their honor and teach our children who these people are so they can identify with home. So I only wish that somebody's listening who can make it happen. And hopefully the public energy will drive us into that direction so we can really appreciate those who have excelled, whether it's Elimat or a drain cleaner or a doctor or a district nurse or whatever. We really have to respect and commend and celebrate our people, and we're not doing it.
So I would hope that that gentleman who spoke about Dwyer in the commentary last Friday and Freedom, I hope he's listening. And I would hope he could take this message to Dwyer. Because I would like to say to Dwyer, cut out the bullshit, Dwyer. When it comes to Elimat, cut out the bullshit, Dwyer. Because Dwyer, whether you tried to help Elimat or not, I do not know how the story went. But I know the story back in the 90s when Labour got into office and he was minister. I know for a fact that Elimat was working for you in your ministry. I know at the time Elimat band was playing over a Jacktar, now Royal St. Kitts. Whatever falling out or whatever issue you guys had, I'm going by what Elimat tell me. Elimat is still alive. And he too have told some lies over the years. So I do not know whether or not he will recollect it as it should or whether he would lie about it. The only person that I could have had to back up what I'm saying now, he's dead gone as well, was Eustace Hendrickson. Because even Eustace speaks to me about it all the time. But he's no longer with us. Whatever issue that Elimat and Dwyer had, Elimat was terminated from the government, from the civil service, and according to Elimat, they stopped him from playing over at the hotel. That's what Elimat told me. During those days, this DJ had the inner circle operating in St. Paul's. And Elimat approached this DJ, and told this DJ that his band is in top condition, rare form, and he would like to partner with me. Let's do a couple of tours within the region. And the DJ that loved music and had the respect he had for Elimat welcomed the opportunity. And that year, many of the local Calypsonians in St. Kitts there, the Fancy, the Contender, and all of them, who was a part of the trip, they would have recalled that I went into an agreement with Elimat for a series of events. I foot the bill up front. Elimat will get paid after expenses. The Calypsonian will get paid base and if money made, because I was promoting the art form. I was promoting the culture like I have always done. So what we start off with, the very first event Elimat played at the inner circle in the street under a tent. That was the first gig. The second gig was at Dick's Bar and Nevis. Well, the short Dix Bar and Nevis was not that well supported. It was a lovely dance, but it was not that well supported. The third event was on St. Martin. And how did the DJ get to St. Martin? The DJ had no connection on St. Martin other than Arrow. Elimat put me in contact with some friends of his on St. Martin to arrange the event. I flew to St. Martin in advance, put the event together, came back to St. Kitts. This DJ sponsored the entire all 8 Calypsonians for that year. That was in the finals, along with Elimat and the JS Brass to St. Martin. For some of you in St. Paul's that want to do a little maths, I want to add up things. That's the same year One Hand Peter did from St. Paul's, because I was in St. Martin the evening of the event when I get a phone call telling me that Peter died. So you all could do your maths. And everything, we fly into St. Martin, we hang out all day, had a good time. I took us around, we went over on the beach. I stayed at a hotel down in town. And since the folks on St. Martin was coordinating everything, the DJ did not really need to be there from the start. So the DJ went there afterwards for when the Calypsonians going to perform. Well, when the taxi pull up at the location, I realized the place quiet. There is no sound. The young lady in St. Martin that Elimat introduced me to said, Mr. Maurice, I was waiting until you come. I said, what happened? Elimat told them, he performed in St. Kitts for me and in Nevis, and he didn't get paid. And he's not going to play until he get paid. I said, okay, no problem. So I went inside, Elimat inside sitting down. And I asked Ellie, I said, what is the issue? And he repeated what the lady said. He played in St. Kitts, he didn't get paid. He played in Nevis, he didn't get paid. I said, so Ellie, what was the arrangement? Well, he not playing until he get paid. I said, okay, I'm going to tell you what, Ellie. We had an arrangement. And you know what the arrangement was. So I am telling you now, if you decide not to play tonight, that's not an issue for me. I will accept the loss. I turned to the young lady. I said, if Elimat go on stage and play, when he finish playing, you pay the band. If he does not play, no problem, I'll take my loss. And I walk out and I give Elimat some choice words. Before I could get to the front of the hall, I hear the band strike up. The show went on. It was a lovely show. I only could say he got paid because I did not deal with the money. The folks on St. Martin deal with the money. And I rest down Elimat from then. I rest down Elimat from then. For years, I stayed clear of Elimat. It's during Team Unity administration. I received a call from Sam Kanda, who was the then ambassador to the United Nations in New York, asking me if I could assist with helping out Elimat because he understands he's in Florida and he's not doing well and need help and whatever. And I gave Sam Kanda my position. I said, Sam, I already get enough bad name from St. Kitts people for helping them. I'm not taking any more bad name for helping people. If you want me to do something for Elimat, give me an official letter. When you give me that official letter, then I will do something. I'm sitting here today now. January 28, 2026. I still have not seen that letter. But we got a young man in Florida from Nevis by the name of Ivor Henry. Good partner of mine. He used to be a police in St. Kitts. That's where we met, stationed in St. Paul's, and we maintained the friendship over cricket. My team used to go to Florida on a regular to play against his team down there, the Leeward Islands team. And I was aware that he knew of everything happening in Florida when it comes to Kitchen and Division. And I reached out to him about Elimat. And he told me, yes, he knew where Elimat was. I still, without not getting a letter from Sam, jumped on a plane, went to Florida to look for Elimat. You know? And if any of you can recall, when I got to Florida and I find Elimat in that nursing home, I basically encouraged him to come on my live, Facebook Live, to let people know he's okay. We had a good conversation. He sang a couple of verses of his songs and whatever. We had a good time. Following that engagement, the talk puppy at the time, Carlton Dupan, pick up from where I left off and try to help Elimat into some recording of songs. I do not know how much money Dupan raised, but I know Elimat sent me a couple of songs for me to listen to and to give my input. That CD was never released. That recording was never completed. But I live to hear Elimat accuse me of things with that same recording, which I had nothing to do with, because Carlton Dupan is who dealt with Elimat with those monies. My good people like to distort the facts when it's beneficial to them. I want to do what is right for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't want to be sidetracked by personalities and personal business or people. I want to deal with the politics of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to deal with what is important to the future of St. Kitts and Nevis. So when Dwyer them going to come and give in commentaries, and I know that their commentaries are not factual, this DJ will comment on it. I'm not going to comment on Dwyer's personal life. But we're talking politics, we're talking country, we're talking about CBI, we're talking about what we campaign on. The DJ has a right to call out Dwyer because Dwyer knows more than he's saying. Dwyer knows his role. Dwyer has been paid advisors to many people. You cannot be a paid advisor on one hand and benefit and come back and sing a different tune later. So instead of you all coming to the DJ and say that I am attacking Dwyer, no. Ask Dwyer, what was his relation with these individuals? What was your relation with MSR Media? What was your arrangement association with that developer in the Southeast? Ask Dwyer, let him tell you. Ask Dwyer why he refused to call out Dr. Drew and his wrongs after 3+ years. What Drew is doing is worse than what Timothy did, worse than what Douglas did, but he continued going after Douglas and Timothy. So why Dr. Drew is off limits? Tell me, Dwyer, tell the people why. Why is Dr. Drew off limits? You know that Dr. Drew messed up the CBI program very badly. As a matter of fact, just in case you forget Dwyer, or anyone else out there listening, let me drop this clip where Dr. Drew went down deep in Parliament telling the people about that situation with the CBI while in Parliament after he became Prime Minister. You know, he went down deep, telling the people the dangers of the prison project. It's not the DJ saying it. This is the doctor just saying it. But what he forgot to tell the people, that after he campaigned against this project while in opposition, he signed off on the majority of these CORs.
Further, on August 18, 2023, St. Kitts and Nevis CBI officials, led by Attorney General, met with UK Home Office about our new CBI regulations and practices. On October 26, 2023, our same team of officials met with the U.S. Treasury Department in Florida, along with officials from Caribbean CBI states, to discuss progress on U.S. Caribbean Roundtable 6 agreed principles, Madam Speaker. On January 25, 2024, the team met with EU visa officials in Dominica to update them on new regulations and current practices. Madam Speaker, we have maintained constant dialogue and engagement with our international partners. However, we knew that the prison project had contributed to over 20,000 new citizenships being granted in a short period of time, Madam Speaker. This is the travesty. The travesty in all of this, Madam Speaker. 20,000, Madam Speaker, citizenships, over 20,000 to 25,000 new citizenships being granted in a short period of time. Madam Speaker, let's pause for a moment on that. How can anyone grant 25,000 citizenships for a prison? 25,000 based on the new census, and the Minister of Sustainability is here, Senator Honorable Dr. Joya Clark, that we are about 53,000 residents here in St. Kitts and Nevis, both citizens and residents. 53,000, Madam Speaker. And for a prison, you give up to 25,000 new citizenships. Madam Speaker, this is a travesty. It is borderline treason. On a prison project, you have granted citizenships to up to 25,000 citizens, half of your population. Madam Speaker, if any percentage of those persons were to come here, what will happen to St. Kitts and Nevis? But nobody was thinking about St. Kitts and Nevis. People were thinking about themselves, Madam Speaker. Putting self above nation. This is a travesty. And I want history to record that I inform the people of this. Our children must know this. Our grandchildren must also know this. This cannot be hidden from the people. This is a travesty, Madam Speaker. Any leader who grants 25, 50% of your population in citizenship by investment over prison, any leader who does that, Madam Speaker, should never be able to face the people again. Madam Speaker, this hurts badly, you know. Each time I watch the number, I call the AG. AG, is this real? Is this number real? 25,000 over a prison project? In such a short period of time, committing the country to this? Committing the government to this? Madam Speaker, every citizen should be outraged by this. This was totally unnecessary. Our country should not have been subjected to this risk, Madam Speaker, with this high number of citizenships over prison.
Very good, people. That was Prime Minister Joe. While in his role as Prime Minister, telling the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that the prison project was an issue. The prison project that is today on steroids, and they don't want the DJ to say nothing about it. The DJ is not supposed to say anything about it because I'm supposed to support the nonsense that the Prime Minister do, whether he's mashing up the country or not. The DJ is supposed to support Prime Minister Joe. My good people, there's so much to speak about on a Wednesday evening when I come here. So we're not going to get through all of my clips this afternoon, this evening, but I'll be jumping around to a couple of things because I just want to bring awareness to those out there that want to try and change history and want to change direction of the narrative, that the DJ would not be that vehicle. You're going to have to find another vehicle for that. Because that same prison project that we're talking about, and back then, that Premier Brantley said he was in the yard about, and the SIDF that they say Douglas created, that Nevis did not benefit from. I want you guys to hear it in your own words, in his own words from the Premier of Nevis, telling the people how Nevis benefited from the SIDF, from the CBI.
And as a consequence of the new philosophy, we see projects being funded in Nevis for the first time. The Honorable Member from number 7 and Prime Minister spoke that over $62 million, $62 million, in less than 2 years, has been allocated from the SIDF for projects in Nevis. From hospital, to Mondo Track, to Bard Stream, to Van Samry Airport, you name it. We're now seeing the DNA and fingerprints of the SIDF across the infrastructure landscape in Nevis.
So my good people, this is Premier Brantley telling the people the benefit that Nevis received. The benefit that Nevis received from the former Team Unity administration led by Dr. Harris. That is the Premier. I'll go a step further. I'll give you another clip of the Premier speaking about the then Prime Minister, Harris.
People come and they whisper foolishness in your ear, telling us foolishness because St. Kitts and Nevis is enjoying an unprecedented time of prosperity. Unprecedented time of prosperity. The relationship, let me just take 2 minutes, Brother Lindsay, just to say that the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis has never been better. It is the best. It is the best that we have seen. The best that we have seen. It is because of the closeness of that relationship that I could stand here tonight in Molyneux and speak to you. Speak to you as a national of this country, as part of the Team Unity administration. And if Van Samry was here, he would have done similarly, because we are now bound together in a very tangible and important way as we advance the interests of the country. Now in Nevis, for the first time, people are not seeing those age-old distinctions that we used to have. If you want a job and a job is at Park Hyatt, people go on Park Hyatt to work. Wherever work is in the country, people are saying, I am a national of this country and I'm taking advantage of that. People of St. Kitts are taking advantage of opportunities in Nevis and vice versa. You know why? Ultimately, we are 2 islands, 1 paradise. 2 islands, but 1 country. And we need to continue to ensure that all of our people benefit from all that we have to offer as a country. I thank the Honorable Prime Minister. I thank Team Unity and the vision that went into this. I have said so many times right here in St. Kitts that we come from disparate places and disparate backgrounds. When I was in opposition, other man used to talk as hard to me as Timothy Harris when he talking from over there. Talk hard, I used to afraid him because you know he big. So to come from there to where we are now says to you that we were able to put away those things and come together. Put away those things and come together for the benefit of the people of Nevis. Thank you. God bless.
So my good people, those clips is what Prime Minister Drew, Premier Brantley, and the rest of those naysayers would like the DJ to bury. Those are part of our history. If you want to stop talk to Timothy or you want to support Prime Minister Joe, that is your will, Mr. Premier. But the reality of the day is that you were there. Don't be like some of them young men in St. Kitts and Nevis that went over by the young lady and take a piece sneakingly. And because things didn't work out well the next day, you want to deny the child. You was a part of that. Well, my good people like us, I'll be jumping around today because there's so much to speak about. And I want to touch on this SSD matter and Nevis. So let me jump into this next clip from July 5th with Sister Colleen Lawrence interacting with the Premier and Sister this and that.
And to whoever you want to sell it to, the government cannot stop you. But then if you're hearing that it's going to become something so private and so exclusive that perhaps, because as you say, it's rumor, perhaps I may not be able to go down there with my grandchild. I may not be able to fish. The boat may not be able to go out. That to me then falls on government to make sure it looks out for the people and let us know what's really going on in the area.
Well, I think that's fair, but as you say, you started by saying rumor, and I would be a fool as Premier to sit up here and say I'm responding to every rumor. If I had to deal with every rumor that I hear every day, I would have no time to do the actual work for the people of Nevis. So if you have rumors or you're listening to rumors, I would suggest read the Bible instead.
Maybe it's not a rumor.
Because I am saying that we as government have no knowledge of what you're speaking because no formal proposal has come to the government. I explained that. So here you are talking about rumors, and you're asking me as Premier to respond to rumors. I say read the Bible, read Genesis. I think it's a far better use of your time.
Mr. Premier, are you confirming that it is a rumor? Are you confirming that it's a rumor and there's no truth to it?
But I don't know. Am I not speaking English? I'm trying my very best to explain that the government has no proposal before it for any development of the kind that you say is rumored. That is what I'm saying. If and when such a thing comes, consistent with our transparent approach, we will definitely come and talk about it.
But we should be concerned, shouldn't we? We should be concerned.
You should be concerned about rumors.
It may not be a rumor. We don't know. The average person, me, the individual in the community, and the reason why we're here tonight, right, is to come to people so you could hear from them. So please don't try to shut me up, okay? I have a right to speak as a Nevision. I have a right to speak as a Gingerlander. I live in this community, so please come.
Miss Basley.
My name is not Miss Bazzi. My name is Colleen Lawrence.
Colleen Lawrence.
Okay, Miss Bazzi works at Nevis.
We are scheduled to stop at 9 o'clock.
What I am asking for Mr. Scarborough is the Premier. I have to ask here because the average person don't know. We're hearing it. It could be a rumor and it may not be a rumor. And since we want to play games with words, since the real estate agency, right, that is being said to be dealing with the developer is Mrs. Brantley's agency, then I have to ask.
Mrs. Lawrence, if that is some attempt to drag Mrs. Brantley's real estate agency, as you're saying, to your rumor mongering, then I ask you to desist. Miss Lawrence, hear me out. You asked a question. You have come to the town hall meeting. You have premised a whole debate tonight on some rumor that you say you have been hearing. I don't know how am I supposed to respond to that. I respond to facts. I respond to situations that we are aware of that are on the ground. I said to you that the government has had no formal proposal setting out any project of the kind that you've described.
But that wasn't my question.
I've said that 3 times. And every time I've told you that you're going back to say what you hear, your rumor, what you hear.
I didn't ask if the government had a proposal before it, you know. I asked to please explain to the people or to shed some light on what we are hearing.
But how can I shed light on what you are hearing?
So you don't know?
I don't even know where you're hearing it from.
Okay, you don't know, and it's unfortunate, Mr. Premier, that you don't know as the leader of the island.
Could you give somebody else the mic, please,
You
Ms.
should
Lawrence?
know as
We would have heard what you had to say, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Scarborough,
please, give somebody else the mic.
Mr. Scarborough, this is a democratic island, we say, right? You don't have to agree with me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have commandeered the mic on the basis of a rumor that you have heard. I don't even know, is your neighbor give you the rumor? You heard it on radio? Where did the rumor come from?
We know. I ain't even trying to let you lead me down that road, because all of us know where party come from.
We have a town hall where the government is seeking to engage with the public. You have insisted on engaging us all night on the basis of what you describe.
Mr. Brantley,
you describe as rumors.
I'm asking if there's any truth to it, because you should know. You're saying there's no proposal before government for development in the area.
Yes.
I accept that.
Okay.
But then you should know what is happening or what is said to be happening, and then you should be able to shed some light on what is going on. So I was only asking in the interest of the people that to make sure that we are not cut off from being able to use the Atlantic coast, right? And who is offended, I owe no apology to,
so,
right?
Ms. Lawrence, it's not about people.
I want to know, because I want to be able to use the shoreline,
okay,
so I'm asking.
And if there is any development that we need to engage in with the public, we will. Okay. I have been trying to answer you all night, and no matter how I try to answer, you keep coming back to what you hear.
Okay.
What you've been hearing. I am not in the same circles as you. I don't know what you're hearing.
I
can only respond to what we know as government that has been presented to us, and that is what I can speak to. So if, again, I say, I were to speak to every rumor that this island generates, I would have no time to actually do work.
I understand and I agree. The conclusion to your response then, sir, is that you don't know what is happening.
So, very good people. According to that meeting of July 5th, 2025, where the Premier chose to advise Ms. Lawrence to read her Bible because he don't know about any rumors and any development on the south coast of Nevis. Now, let's follow the timeline. That's July 5th, 2025. And July 31st, 2025, a bill was presented to the federal parliament by Prime Minister Joe to debate SSZ bill, which saw its second and third reading on the 11th of August and became law and act sometime in August. And the 25th, I think it was, or somewhere thereabout of August, Premier Brantley addressed the nation. We're speaking about July, August of 2015. Look at the speed. From a rumor, he don't know about it. The young lady have to go and read her Bible to this presentation.
My fellow citizens and residents, I address you this evening to explain to you recent legislative developments in the National Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis, touching and concerning the Special Sustainability Zones Authorization Law, passed with unanimous support in the Parliament on Monday, 11th August 2025. I address you at this time because the Nevis Island Administration has been formally approached by an investor seeking to establish such a zone on the island of Nevis. That investor is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Matters are now under active discussion at the cabinet level, and no decisions have been arrived at. It is, however, important that I keep the Nevisian public fully abreast of developments to date. Now, what is a special sustainability zone? The idea of special economic zones is not a new idea. They exist in most developed economies in the world. Globally successful examples exist in China, India, Singapore, and in Dubai. In the Caribbean, these zones have existed in Jamaica from as early as the 1970s, and the Cayman Islands officially launched its SEZ on the 3rd of February 2012. Globally, these zones are characterized by significant tax incentives, dedicated infrastructure, and a specific legal framework. Given the clear over-reliance nationally on the Citizenship by Investment program and the obvious challenges those programs are facing internationally, I have long advocated that we move at pace to diversify the St. Kitts and Nevis economy and to bring into being new and innovative ideas to drive development which is not dependent on CBI. It is in that vein that I and my CCM colleagues in opposition supported the recent passage of the Special Sustainability Zone Authorization Act in the National Parliament. I believe that the National Parliament has significantly improved upon the idea of the Special Economic Zone. St. Kitts and Nevis is the first country in the world to introduce an enabling mechanism for special sustainability zones, zones that go beyond economics and include requirements to develop in harmony with nature, create long-term high-quality jobs, ensure renewable energy and water security, restore land and protect our environment, provide sustainable services inside the zone. This ensures that any such zone in St. Kitts and Nevis combines prosperity with sustainability. Now, how does the law work? Let me take a few moments to explain to you how the law is intended to work. The law is quite simple, running to a mere 9 pages. Section 3 sets out the objectives. These include sustainable development in harmony with nature, creation of long-term investments and quality jobs, and the promotion of development which focuses on water security, green energy transition, food security, and luxury accommodation. The law makes it clear that a special sustainability zone is created when a development agreement is entered into in relation to a specifically defined geographic area on either St. Kitts or Nevis. Under Section 4 of the law, the Prime Minister may enter into such development agreements and so declare any such zone on the island of St. Kitts. However, where any such zone is to be declared for the island of Nevis, Section 4.2 of the law makes it clear that there can be no such zone created in Nevis without the approval and consent of the Nevis Island Administration. I want to emphasize here that there can be no designation of any area in Nevis as a special sustainability zone unless the Nevis Island Administration agrees and approves that declaration. Full control of the development direction of Nevis therefore remains firmly and exclusively with the Nevis Island Administration. The role of Nevis applicable to any zone in Nevis is not restricted to the Nevis Island Administration. Under Section 7 of the law, any development agreement where the zone is in Nevis must be ratified and passed in the Nevis Island Assembly. Put differently, there is oversight and control at both the cabinet level in Nevis and at the parliamentary level as well. The mandatory involvement of the Nevis Island Assembly also ensures that any such development agreement is fully ventilated publicly so that the Nevisian people will know exactly what is being proposed on the island of Nevis. Section 9 of the law provides yet additional safeguards by empowering the Prime Minister for zones in St. Kitts or the Premier for zones in Nevis to establish an independent oversight body to receive and review applications from potential zone developers and to monitor compliance with any zone development. Lastly, the law contains a large number of preconditions before any zone can be considered. Under Section 5, any applicant to develop a zone must show, among other things, an economic analysis from a reputable firm showing long-term economic benefits to St. Kitts and Nevis, clear plans for developing the infrastructure within the proposed zone so that there is no cost to the Kittitian or Nevisian taxpayer, that the development will cause no harm to the natural environment, that the development is designed for comfort and luxury, that the development will generate water and renewable electricity to meet its needs, clear plans for health services, clear plans for safety and security within the proposed zone, dispute resolution mechanisms for residents in the proposed zone. As these are all preconditions, it means that any proposed zone developer must satisfy these requirements before being considered as a suitable developer for any proposed zone in St. Kitts or Nevis. Now,
my good people, you listen to that presentation. Based on the response from folks that I have listened to out there on the trail, there's objections by Nevisians on this program, this development. But let's take a listen to Premier Brantley yesterday, Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. And like I said, we're working with timelines. And the 5th of July, 2025, at a town hall, he don't know what the young lady talking about. She must go and read her Bible. By July 31st, 2025, SSZ bill was presented to the federal parliament. 11th of August, 2025, the bill received its second and third reading. By the 20 plus, it was already passed into law. On the 25th or thereabout, he addressed the nation. Now, I listened to the developer during an interview with Banky and Yoshan there and the topics back in December, where the developer was giving his marching orders that he wants this agreement signed by the end of the year, 2025. And while folks out there taking these things lightly, according to Premier Brantley, he signed off on that agreement on the 23rd of December, 2025. This information was not made public until a journalist asked the question yesterday, 27th of January, 2026, at his press conference. Let's take a listen.
Destiny proposal, I can report that the Nevis Island administration, after exhaustive town halls and stakeholder engagements and feedback and exhaustive engagement with the proposers for Destiny, that we would have sent our approval for this particular project to the attention of the Prime Minister on the 23rd of December 2025. That's the date that I'm advised it was sent. The proposal has gone through, the agreement has gone through various iterations. The agreement, of course, is not yet signed, but we have signaled to the Prime Minister that we are comfortable with what has been proposed, and that was done on the 23rd of December. As we know the process, it now shifts to Bastille for them to look at it, but we are expecting that that will be dealt with in short order, largely because this is a Nevis project. This is not a federal project. It is not a St. Kitts-based project. It's a Nevis project. And the Nevis Island administration has determined that this project will advance the development of the island of Nevis. And we stand behind the project because we think it's a good project for Nevis. We have heard the concerns expressed, and we have sought to address those concerns publicly in a forthright way. And, of course, to bring this into being, ultimately the agreement will be made public and will have to go to the Parliament. So we're not yet at that stage because the agreement has not yet been signed. But I can say that we've signaled that we are supportive of this development moving forward. I can tell you that as I moved around over the Christmas season and the holiday season, the bars and the various shops that I go to, that a lot of the questions that were posed to me was, when is this thing going to start? People are anxious for development, people are anxious for business, people are anxious for work. When is this going to start? Which is a far cry from what you hear the pundits on radio and online saying. So we seem to have quite a dichotomy in the country. You have the pundits who are saying every imaginable evil about this proposed project, and then you have the man on the ground, so to speak, who's saying, listen, let's get going. We want activity, we want work,
And they keep highlighting the fact that that particular area of Nevis has no development there, has not seen any development in the last 100 years, and is unlikely to see any development unless either a very wealthy investor were to come, as these have come, or alternatively some government in the future were to have hundreds of millions of dollars to put in infrastructure to open up those lands in that area. Absent that, I think that area is going to remain as it now is, with nothing happening over there, and with the lands being continually eroded from the sea. That is the biggest activity happening on the South Coast, is erosion from the sea. So people are anxious to get going on this, and we have heard, as I said, but governments are elected to govern. Governments are elected to lead, and no decision, none, will ever have the complete support of the populace. So we have to make the best judgment that we have as the persons elected by the people of Nevis and trusted by the people of Nevis to lead, and we have signaled to the federal government that we are in favor of this project, and in favor we have sent the final iteration of the agreement on to Bastia for them to have a look at it. So we're waiting, of course, for word from them. We're hopeful that we can move because these developers are quite anxious to get going, to get boots on the ground, to get backhoes in the soil, to get trucks moving, to get people hired, to get offices opened, and to progress. And that is what we...
So my good people, correction. The premiers did said the document is not signed. They signaled the federal parliament and the prime minister that the NIA, his CCM team, has signaled that they're in favor of this project and they're ready to move forward. Now the question is the people of Nevis, are they ready to move forward? You know, I cannot help but compare, in contrast to the speed of this development, from not knowing what Carlin Lawrence was speaking about on the 5th of July to a bill being presented by the Prime Minister on the 31st of July of 2025, to the second and third reading on the 11th of August 2025, to this bill become law in August of 2025, to the Premier is claiming that he was informed that this agreement was sent to the Prime Minister somewhere around the 23rd of December, which means the Premier gave his blessings prior to 2023. We are now today the 28th of January 2026. And I cannot help but laugh to myself. If it was not so serious, it would be laughable. I can recall back in December of 2022, the structure there at Nevis at the Alexandria Hospital that we refer to as the New Hospital Wing. This wing started back in 2017 with a proposed completion date of 2019. We know that to date, from 2017 to date, January 28, 2026, the wing is now closer to finishing now to what it was then, more than 3 years into their term. Several millions been appropriated during budget season over the last couple of years, with a statement that those millions will go towards finishing that project. I am not going to continue stressing myself and fighting about matters in St. Kitts and Nevis that I myself cannot fix on my own. I will continue to bring my awareness, do what I have to do to keep the people informed. But this fight requires all hands on deck. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis need to stand up, get up off their lazy backside, calling in on radio shows, writing on social media, whispering in the corner, is not going to stop these bad actors, these corrupt politicians from doing the damage that they're doing, my good people. There must be a call to action. And if we are not going to stand up for ourselves, at least stand up for the future generation, stand up for those unborn, because we're soon to be alien in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We cannot depend on individual like sister this and that, neither queen this and that. Those individuals has no moral compass. Whatever is driving them at the moment, they have no moral compass. So I am calling on you good people, you know, and while I'm calling on your people, you know, Saturday while I was here, Saturday, I was here and I said, okay, with this big snowstorm upon us, I will not get to see my baby girl until maybe later on this week when the snow has eased up and whatever. So I was missing my baby girl so much. And you know, the funny thing about it is, missing my daughter Rochelle there and the grandkids over there in the Ohio area, my son Jeffrey Jr. in LA, they're far away. But I know close by here, my baby girl tried her best to stick with her daddy. And I didn't realize my baby girl had sent me 2 voice notes. And when the phone rang, it was my baby girl saying, Daddy, I sent you 2 messages and you didn't respond to me. So I just want to share those voice notes with you folks for you all to understand that these are who we have to fight for. They are not able to fight for themselves. These innocent kids, these innocent babies. When I received these voice notes from this young baby, my baby girl, it gave me more reason to fight for the future of these generations to come. So let's take a listen to Daddy's baby girl.
Hey, Daddy. I'm with my mom, and I just wonder if you could pick me up so I could spend some time with you.
So that's my baby girl. In spite of the cold weather, she just wants to spend time with her daddy. But it didn't stop there. There was a second voice note.
And I love you, Daddy, from baby girl.
Yes. These are the generations I'm fighting for. Not these old cardboard market girl like sister this and that. They could fight for themselves. They can fight for themselves. And if they choose to do wrong, it's all up to them. But I am going to fight for my baby girl and the future generation, the grand and everyone else to come. My good people, we are getting to the top of the hour, or the bottom of the hour, as they would say. And I would not be able to drop as much clips as I would like to drop this afternoon. But I think I would like to remind us about those 2,400 homes. And some weeks back, there was an interview with Ian Patches Liebert, the gentleman from East Coast and his attorney. So let's take a listen to that clip.
My caption tonight is, why, my Sherdog family? Hear me, why? Only 2 model homes completed. And we have the head honcho, if I can call him that, who is with us, and he's also with his council. And we want to say welcome to Azad Gums, and we want to say welcome as well to Brian Singh and say good night to these two gentlemen and my Straight Talk family. We trust that we will have an intelligible discussion tonight where each one would be able to recognize for us. I'm here trying to get things sorted out. Bear me out, my Straight Talk family. But we welcome, like I said, Council Azad Gums, and he's no stranger to us here in the Federation, and perhaps even across the globe. Good night, Azad. Are you there?
Good evening, Patches. Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. And Brian, we also say...
Good night, Patches. Good night. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, we see if I can get you all up at the same time. Forgive me, what am I doing here? Yes. So, my good gentlemen on our screens, why am I not getting you here? I'm getting you, Brian, but again, let me say a very pleasant night to all of you, my people. And again, we say greetings to our guests. And yes, here they are. That's Azad Gums and Brian Singh. And I want, for full disclosure, to say tonight that I met Mr. Singh, Brian Singh. Is it okay to say Brian Singh?
Brian is perfect.
I met Brian. Is it okay to say Azad?
Yes, that's okay.
So we establish our protocol tonight, and you can say Patches. We can put all the frills aside, okay? But
yes.
I met Brian. I know Azad very well, but I met Brian between June and I think December in 2016 or thereabout, when he first sought an audience with me in June and December on both occasions, when I was the minister with responsibility for public infrastructure, urban development, and transport and posts. I met him in my office, so we need to get full disclosure. And I recall, as a matter of courtesy, I met with him in my office, and he presented a letter then and a proposal for the development of a 44 megawatt solar plant under a different company by the name of Brico. Do you recall that, Brian?
That is correct. Your memory serves you well.
Yes, and I remember this smooth talking gentleman. He was tucked in an elegant suit, as he is tonight, and a tie. He told me that Prime Minister Harris was his good friend. And I outlined the process, I remember, which was documented in a letter dated in June 2016 as well. And subsequently, believe it or not, I was reflecting when Brian submitted a second proposal to develop a 3 million imperial gallon desalination plant. You remember that as well? I'm sure you do.
Yes, I do.
You do. And after discussion, and again outlining the process, I wrote a second letter. So for full disclosure, I wanted really to say this so that you can understand that we are not strangers, so to speak. We are not strangers. as I said, and we in fact discuss this proposal, and I remember, and for the record, I want to share with our listening audience and to jog your memory, Brian, when we discuss these two subject matters, solar and water, and we're still having the water problem today. And I recall that we did in fact communicate this letter, or these two letters, as you can glean. I believe you should be able to see them on your screens.
Yes.
You can see
water
them.
and power. And you're quite right, the problems still exist today.
Yes. And I did in fact communicate that letter, and for the benefit of those who are with us and can read it, the letters are first one, June 2016, proposal for 44 megawatt solar power plant. Many thanks for your letter of June 13 instant in relation to the proposal and caption, also for the kind sentiments expressed therein same. And for your guidance, the said proposal should be forwarded to the CEO of Skelec, Mr. Farrell, who must then submit a recommendation to the Board of Directors for its consideration and necessary action. And the second letter in December regarding the proposals. Many thanks for your letter in relation to the proposals at caption and the kind sentiments expressed therein same. Similar thoughts are hereby reciprocated. For your guidance and ease of clarification, there is still need to be a more comprehensive appraisal of both proposals in order to fully evaluate their commercial potential. Also, prior to finalizing an agreement or financial transaction with Brico, irrespective of the model, the appropriate analysis must be undertaken by the Ministry of Finance and the Office of the Attorney General. And I recall as well, Brian, he was always this persistent customer, so to speak, and he never gave up. Always ensured that he kept coming and ensuring that whatever he wanted, he would get. And there were a plethora of emails as well. I'm going this way, Brian, and your counsel, that I then met Brian in 2018, some years after, when PM Harris and yourself, PM Harris invited me to a meeting at the hotel one Saturday morning. But it made me reflect on a comment that you made, and when your counsel called me or communicated with me yesterday and asked if his client could appear on the show, and I asked him if he was sure he wants to do that, quite frankly, and he said yes. I've spoken to him; he's fine with it. And I said I had no problem except a false insinuation that was made, and we had to get that out the way. And for the record, for the record, really, I believe I would give Mr. Singh an opportunity to retract if he will show us some maturity, because the statement was false unless we misunderstood it. Did we? Are you there, Mr.
I
Singh?
think you did. I think you did. And like I told you earlier, the point of the matter is that I made a general statement about politicians because I used to be heavily involved in politics in Trinidad and Tobago on the public money. And I'm saying that if you felt aggrieved with what was said because of misunderstanding the English that I spoke, my apologies. I told you that before. You still started, and I'm telling you now.
Okay, well, it's not about...
I'm saying this to you, Patches, because we go way back. And like I always told you then, and I would tell anybody I meet today, when I meet somebody, I make friends for life. I'm not about making enemies or about making friends. Doesn't matter which side of the fence they are. At the end of the day, we have to be kind to each other as humans. And with that, we could move forward.
Certainly. Well, I'm happy that for the maturity demonstrated nonetheless.
So, my good people, I dropped that clip to clarify some stuff because it's only during that exchange did DJ realize that Mr. Singh and Patches have a history and they know each other for some years. So, for all of those weeks upon weeks that Mr. Liebert was playing his clips and questioning about monies that was taken from government and run off with, if Patches really wanted to be honest and upfront about situation, he could have simply pick up the phone and call Mr. Singh or shoot Mr. Singh an email to get some background. But that was never done. But nevertheless, throughout that exchange, I realized that that matter was cleared up. And I did say in a previous podcast that I expected Patches to then come back on his podcast and apologize for what he was playing previously. He have yet to do that. Instead, he has made some comments, which I will not get into this afternoon because it's not about Patches and I right now. It is about the corruption within this Jew-led administration. So let me drop another clip here from a similar program.
And this email reads, my Straight Dog family, Sir Patches, a happy good night to you, sir. I can see you are both keeping well and fighting the good fight. In this ongoing saga between East Coast Housing, NHC, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, it would be good to know whether East Coast Housing ever received the government or sovereign guarantee required by agreement dated April 2023. It sounds to me from what Mr. Brian Singh has said so far that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis never provided him with an effective guarantee as prescribed by the agreement between the parties. Do you know if this is correct? It would be good to know what is the value of the claim by East Coast Housing. Is it EC $20 million or is it EC $40 million or is it closer to EC $100 million? Well, according to the claim that I have seen, the claim speaks to damages for $8 million. And I think if we put that in EC dollars, that amounts to just over $21 million. And it's damages for fraudulent misrepresentation in the sum of $8 million US. Damages for damage to financial reputation and loss of opportunity to perform and profit from the housing project. And it goes on, damages for misfeasance in public office, interest pursuant to the relevant laws of St. Christopher and Nevis, costs and such further or other relief as the Honorable Court deems so.
Yes, my good people. That's one clip. I'm going to drop another one.
Get overwhelming for me. And this email reads, the Labour government is currently building houses the same design as the two smart models. Isn't this illegal, seeing that they entered a contract and didn't live up but still using Mr. Singh's design? Asks this email. This other email reads, good evening, Patches. I generally listen to your programs when I can, or the rebroadcasts, even to last night, but fell asleep right after the intro, cause an early riser. As an early riser, beg your pardon, I know I won't be able to stay up. Even up to the last night, I tried to listen about the 2,400 smart houses, but I know I have to command my day very early, be it 3 a.m. or sometimes even earlier, or when the Spirit of the Lord leads me. I was listening one night, it was either sometime in late October or early November, when he was speaking of some kind of document or agreement of 3 persons, but could clearly remember. However, a document came up on the screen with the names Franklin Walwyn, a Fleming, if I can recall a lady's first name, and someone else's name. What really drew my attention to this is that I kept saying Walwyn, as that name sounds familiar. It sounds like the grassroots contractor that I gave a chance to work on my housing project and as a villager. The truth is, he pulled a big one on me, overcharging me and other awful things. Can you lead me to that particular video to kind of make it easy for me to review and see if these people... Okay, I think this was a personal email. Okay, sorry about that, but I'll get to that email. This other email reads, greetings, Patches. The Carnival Committee informed the street vendors that they are not allowed to serve food and drinks in plastic. So what they're supposed to use to serve drinks in? They didn't think this through at all, and the vendors are left stressing out about having enough alternatives. Help us out, Patches. This ain't fair, reads this email. Thank God for Marisha. He's Martin Luther King and the Moses of St. Kitts. Keep up the good works, Marisha. Thanks for the sacrifice that you're making for your country, reads this other email.
My good people, that particular email, I appreciate the recognition by that emailer. But more so, I have had several concerns about what this Joled administration is doing to the small businesses of St. Kitts and Nevis, and more so, I think my misguided cousin there, Senator Dr. Clark, in regards to this sustainable program on St. Kitts and Nevis. I am of the view that the Caribbean islands contribute less to destroying our ozone layer from a global perspective. However, I realize on St. Kitts Nevis, Parliament has enacted laws and put things in place to outlaw plastics, plastic bags, food containers and everything. Many of those restaurants, shops, cook shops are going to hell to provide supplies for their Saturday morning soups and their daily delivery food. As a matter of fact, many of these restaurants I have attended, both large and small, the containers that they put the takeout food in, before you could leave the facility, the container is already leaking, even from simple rice or some gravy. The utensils, the forks and knives and spoons, they're wooden, some of them paper. You can't even get quarter way through your meal before they're broken. All kind of shit on St. Kitts and Nevis. I say all of that to say this. If our ministers of government travel out and sign off on whatever documents that they need to have whatever be done by a certain date, the least they can do is have an alternate in place. Over the past couple of weeks, I have traveled from St. Kitts, overnight in Miami, been to the Fancy Loaf restaurant there, had some lovely oxtail and rice. And in Miami, they're still using plastics. The containers that they're using to put food in, they're not leaking. I came across to New York on my way over to the UK. I went to the Jamaican restaurant up there on High Street in Birmingham. Just the same, the containers they're using is the same containers, just as what I saw in Miami. They are plastic containers. The food are not leaking through and stuff like that. And then back here in New York, I went around the corner there, got a rotisserie chicken and have some stuff. The containers are just the same. So my question to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and to my great cousin there, Sister Joy Clark, why are you guys putting all this pressure on the businesses or the small business in St. Kitts and Nevis that are struggling to get containers for their takeout food, while the big countries here that create this pollution all over the globe, they still are using these things? Plastic bags are still in use. So why are you pressuring the poor people in St. Kitts and Nevis? Why are you not making sure that proper supplies are in to service these places? I see my boy Carbo put out some notice there last week asking folks to bring their own takeout bowl when they come for his delicious goat water. That is what Nevis have come to. That's what St. Kitts have come to. My good people, when I come here on a Wednesday evening and I bring issues to the table, is not to attack, is not to cuss, but is to basically highlight situation that we can change. Let me drop another clip here.
Patches, I believe that the Attorney General Wilkin should be accountable for his crimes rather than the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. When these guys are in government, they do a lot of foolishness because they will be protected by the government's banner. This nonsense has to stop. Wilkin should be prosecuted and judged by his peers. Let the court decide.
You know, I love that email, and I'm of the same view that these individuals that are committing the crimes on St. Kitts and Nevis, they're the one that walks free, while petty criminals, petty crimes get the full length of the rod. And I must say, I have a clip here by Patches. I'm going to leave it for another time. But Patches is trying to convince the DJ now that he was in government for some 5 years. And it's only after he left his position as ambassador to the United Nations here in New York, he realized, and hindsight, the amount of wrongs that was being done. But during those 5 years, Patches already labeled the DJ a criminal, criminalized the DJ, because remember that little protest, that demonstration we did down in front of the mission, and my girl, Sister Naomi Butch and Naomi Ward, Joseph Buchanan, Sheila Barrett. We had Inga, Olivia, God bless her soul, and many others came down there. When I went there to protest the arrest of 3 of our citizens in St. Kitts during the COVID era, mainly Shaq, the man Madel Cop, and 2 young ladies that was arrested for protesting and carrying placards. Folks was tear gas to me unnecessarily. I found out later that one of those young ladies was my cousin. And what is funny is that back then, when I started the awareness, started the uprising, many of the people that had no voice, they have voice today to attack the DJ, even many of them who benefited. Today, I can say, many of them, we are there. Is the Madel Cop championing freedom of speech and calling out the government now for doing the same thing that the other one was doing? I don't see that. I look at the Madel Cop as a upstanding citizen, young man, but it seems as though they're walking this straight line. Just as my colleagues, the media association, the members of the Media Association of St. Kitts Nevis, they go to these press conferences and they just sit there like pops. Whether they like what I'm saying or not is up to them, but the DJ calling it like it is. If we, the citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, does not stand up to these bad actors, these criminals that in part-time practice sage himself as Minister of Government, honorable what? Honorable my ass. None of them is honorable. Not one of them is honorable. Not one of them is honorable. All of them is, as Patchy say, a bunch of peas in one pod. Because if they care about the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, if they cared about the country, they would stand up. Somebody would say, no, pull back. This is not right. Let's do right by the people. This DJ we're looking forward at this time of our political season to be campaigning for re-election of the Dr. Drew-led Labour administration. In good conscience, I cannot do that. Too much damage has been done to the country under a very short space of time. Can they turn around at this stage of the game? I do not know. The ball is in their court. But I will continue to report what I am seeing. So,
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and sundaes. Opposite the our shop, right there on the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
So my good people, that's what it is. Until such time as we get the opportunity to correct a mistake, just go and check out Sister Carmen. She's downtown there by Astaire, right opposite the West Ferry Terminal and bus terminal. Right there by Shirley. Monday to Saturday, 12 noon to 5 p.m. check out, let her know DJ Marisha sent you. And if you take a run across to Nevis on a Saturday, you can check my boy Cabo. Let's see what Cabo has to say.
Cabo's, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treat. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabo's Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabo's Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabo's and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabo's, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over. Food all over. You got the food all over.
Yes, you got it right. You got the food all over Nevis. Just let Brother Cabo know that DJ Marisha sent you. Now, in the meantime and between time, let's take a quick listen to the folks here at Glen Barrows.
Glen Barrow Guest House, located on Kearn Street, has gone specials again. Time to relax after the hectic season. We've cut the rates in two. Our $200 room, now $100. Our $250 room, now $125. Discounts apply when you stay 2 or more nights. Single nights, they take 25% discount. You pay $150 and $175 respectively. For more information, call or email glenbarrow@gmail.com, telephone 663-0777 or 465-2935. Offer ends January 31st. This rate is for CARICOM residents only. Let us enjoy 2026 to the fullest at Glen Barrow.
Yes, you heard it right. That's the Glen Barrow for today. Wednesday, 28th, January 2026. My good people, I don't have the Island purified water with me here, but I have some water drinking. But I just want to big up the good folks there at Island Purified Water, the best water people in St. Kitts Nevis, Main Street, Newton Ground, St. Kitts. And I just want to touch my brother there, the man, Brother Powell, the man Scatter and his team, his family, for keeping the DJ hydrated whenever he's in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. My good people, we're about to sign out for today. But before we do that, let's take a quick run across to St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and touch my boy there, Brother Malvern Gums, and hear what he have to say about the DJ.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music.
You got that.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
Keep it locked right there, my good people. Like I said previously in my explanation about my promotional matters there with Elimata and the Jazz Brass and those Calypsonians back in the 90s. Throughout my life as a promoter, I can count on one hand that I can say I made profit from an event. And I had hundreds, if not thousands of events over the years, from parties, house parties, to in various clubs all over the place, Eastern Parkway, promoting the art form. And I have yet to show anything for it in terms of the DJ benefiting. But I continue to do what I can to promote the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And all of those events, I always tell the artists, any one of them can tell you straight up how I function. When I brought in the King Arrow, the King Conris, Anastasia, the Queen this and that, Lord Kent, and others, I tell them straight up what they're going to make if there's money to be made. I give them a stipend. And if I'm just doing a thing with the hopes to make some money, the reality is that they tell them they get paid based on what comes in. I'm not going to go to the bank to take a loan to pay an artist that I'm promoting. No, you must be able to pull your crowd. And a lot of that happened over the years where the St. Kitts people, a lot of folks come out to talk, and most of the time talk politics. And they will stand up outside the door and wait until whatever time to tell you drop the price for them to come in or not to pay at all. So sometimes you got these big crowds, but the overhead just not covered and stuff like that. But the DJ continue to promote these bands to give the artists an opportunity. And a lot of these bands today, they have made it to an era where they could be further if they had a different mindset, but they did not take the guidelines and the direction. I mean, look at this Juliet Labor administration. They got in the office and they appoint all kind of ambassadors to the music business. But these ambassadors, what can they do for St. Kitts Nevis and the international scene? They don't have any contacts. They don't have any pull. They don't have any plug. So they're just out there getting a stipend. The DJ had many contacts around the globe that he could have used to continue to promote St. Kitts and Nevis. But the DJ was never tapped for those situations. So the country continued to lose because of the misconception of these politicians. They just got these big words and these big talk to brainwash people. But the reality of the day is that we can do better than we're doing. My main concern today is that with in excess of 60,000 economic citizens in the Federation, we are already in the minority. And according to Premier Brantley, the 40,000 to come are Nevis because his CCM team is in favor of this Destiny project. I'm going to drop this track for Premier Brantley and Prime Minister Joe because I listened to some comments there that were coming from some people, and I went and checked social media and I realized that the Premier is trying to butter up the Prime Minister to sign off on this document. The people of St. Kitts, is up to you all if you all want to let this bullshit continue. The DJ have done his part. I have brought awareness to you. I've given you 4 marches on St. Kitts. If you guys want to stay sleeping, we're soon to be.
Are you ready? This is Mighty Pat at the control tower. We're gonna chant them down. We're gonna push them down. We're gonna break them down. Get ready to sing. 1, 2, 3. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over slowly in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. St. Kitts Nevis, where I was born, there will be no place for me to hold on. We'll be sinking, we'll be drowning in deep water. There'll be no recover. Power hungry politicians slowly selling out the island to Tom Dick. Anybody who have money, now look what they make we. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis belongs to we. Foreigners taking over daily in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. The little job that we used to have, foreigners take it while me a starve. The little food that I used to sell, foreigners take him, even that as well. The jobs and businesses here in this country are owned by Arabs, Indians white man tell me to get off of his property. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over slowly in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over daily like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. DJ Marisha came and tell me. He said, mighty, listen carefully. There'll be no place in our country left for we. Watch and you will see. Foreigners will be Prime Minister. Foreigners will be Premier. Foreigners will be Governor. Cause of passport money, we're going back in slavery. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over daily in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. If you are proud to be a Kittitian, if you are proud to be a Nevisian, then take your flag up in your hand and wave it in any direction. These land belong to you and me. So stand up with pride and dignity and tell them foreigners bully. They ain't gon' chase me out of we country. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis should belong to we. Foreigners taking over daily in our country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. Come on. Let me see you say. Let me hear you say. Let me see you turn. Wait. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Don't cry them. Put up.
Yes, that's the man Mighty Pat there, and that one is Alien in My Country. My good people, that is where we are. And if we don't pull back this corrupt politician, you know what's going to happen to us. So let me drop this clip for you.
Yo, DJ! Are you done mixing yet?
Your DJ has only just begun.
No, this DJ is not finished mixing as yet, so I just want you to know that I will continue to mix until I get the mix right. Let's try it again.
Yo, DJ! Are you done mixing yet?
Your DJ has only just begun.
Yes, and my good people, we're going to drop a final track this evening. I'm going to change up this format because this one really have to hit home. This is coming from the man Lord Ranger by way of Sandy Point. So the Anguilla area now resides in the UK. London to be exact. And these corrupt politicians, they come to you and they tell you all kind of things just to be elected. But guess what? Once they get there, they say you put them there, they do as they please. Yeah, man.
Are you ready, everybody, to go along with me and change the whole situation here in this country? The jealousy and envy crippling me all the time. When people here in this country, all they do is sit back and lie. But the man with intention to struggle on all he get is nothing but scorn. And when he start to rise, only then people criticize. But when they want high position, they would lie, they would fight, even take another's life. Oh, pressing the poor man till he die. It ain't right, it's creating towards strife. Instead of working hard to move forward, all they do is playing backyard, doing so much wrong because they want a high position. Anybody come from a poor family and they does not have no position in high society, they must fight day and night with good capability. But when he gain high authority, they still think it's too good for him, so they will find any way to keep him down, even spread rumors around or some other plans, for they're jealous of the man position. And then for want of position, they would lie, they would fight, even take another's life. Oh, pressing the poor man till he die. It ain't right, it's creating towards. Or if a poor hungry man have a destination to rule over this nation, don't care what you do, he will still have position over you. For I see corruption in this country, the iron hand preventing man from being what he should be. But I will, for I should tell it all to the whole nation, that the men who created corruption are them same politicians. They will go around causing each other down, creating strife among my people. And while we fight one another, they in hotel drinking together. And then for want of position, they will lie, they will fight, even take another's life. Oh, pressing the poor man till he die. That's why my people lose. But when them politicians run election and say they want to help the nation, well, that isn't true. They just want position over me and you. Oh yes, that isn't true. They just want position over me and you. You could tell them again that that isn't true. They just want position over me and you. Oh yes, that isn't true. They just want position over me and you.
Yes, sound of the man, the Lord Ranger, out of Sandy Point St. Kitts by way of Anguilla, now resides in the London area, UK. This final track has brought us to the end of our final podcast for January 2026, my good people. And before I leave you, I must read this because the great doctor, our icon there, Dr. Garfield Alexander, he has a flyer there circulating. It says, Dr. M. Garfield Alexander, updated and reloaded. I love that. Family care physician, community health specialist, Ganja Guru and medical cannabis licensing, herbal treatment and healing. Book now. You has WhatsApp number 869-762-1998. That's WhatsApp number 869-762-1998. And the phone number 869-760-6340. 869-760-6340. West Independence Square Street, Bastia. I'm glad for that information because several people have been reaching out to me asking for contact information for Dr. Alexander, so they would like to engage him. Some said they know him to be a very good, great physician, but he went off screen and they're looking forward to link up with him. So Dr. Alexander is available. He still don't want to get into the public domain like he used to, but he's available for private session. So when you contact Dr. Alexander, just let him know DJ Marisha sent here.